Welcome to From Betrayal to Breakthrough, and here is a mini dose of Dr. Debi where I'm sharing tips, suggestions, strategies, and sometimes just motivation to have you move past your betrayal once and for all. Hi there. So I was meeting with a few of the different groups that we have within the PBT Institute. Some I work with privately, some the larger group. And I was asking them questions about, of course, their betrayal, but also about other relationships that they had in their life, friendships, people they work with. And it really it inspired me to create this episode for you. So what I want to talk about today are your relationships, not necessarily your relationship with the person who betrayed you, but other people in your life. You know, you've heard me share. I talk about the five stages from betrayal to breakthrough, and there's this one spot when we leave stage 3 as we enter into stage 4. It's really common for our relationships to change. And let's say you were in a support group and the whole theme of the group was just kind of commiserating and complaining, and now you don't want to really do that anymore. You kind of are outgrowing your people. So what a lot of people do is they actually sabotage their healing because they're afraid to outgrow their group. Or let's say it's a scenario where the betrayer is clearly not changing. And here you are, you're so brokenhearted, but you're still so willing to give this relationship another chance. And they're really not changing. You're doing the work to heal. And then it's common to actually sabotage your own healing because you're afraid to outgrow your betrayer. But there comes this point where you are, and it's the tail end of 3 entering into stage 4, one of the features of it, where those relationships that really aren't serving you, it's time to let them go. It's time to take a look. It's time to just redefine what you need in a friendship, what you need in a group, what you need in a partner, what you need in everybody around you. So that's the focus of today. You know, when I was asking one of the groups, I said, when you think about a lot of your friendships, some of them have been there for a super long time. And that could be the most beautiful thing ever. But, however, for the ones where that's not necessarily the case, and I asked them this question: if you were to meet that person now, based on the version of you that you're becoming, would you be friends with that person? And it was really funny because some people said no. Some people said, I wouldn't even be with my partner based on who I am now. I mean, there was a great big span of what their criteria is now and who they would choose to be surrounded with and surrounded by, and who they would choose to have as friends. So it really got us into this whole conversation. Now, you may have heard that saying, people are in your life for a reason, for a season, for a lifetime. And it's really so true. And I will tell you, as far as your betrayer may be there for a lifetime, maybe there for a season. Like maybe the relationship has completely run its course. You did all you could do within that relationship. Let's say it was a marriage for whatever many years. Maybe you have a few beautiful kids from it, some great memories, and it ran its course. It is over. Time to move on. So that was a season. And then there's a reason. And it's really interesting too, because when you think of it just from the person who betrayed you, what if the reason was because you didn't realize how lovable, worthy, deserving you are? And it took you getting betrayed to stand your ground and create these new boundaries and finally realize how worthy and deserving you are. Or maybe the relationship ran its course, you're not together anymore or whatever, or maybe you are, but it's a totally different relationship. And maybe you realized how resilient you are, or maybe you realized how self-reliant you are. There are so many reasons why people come into our lives. But when you think about it, take a look at your betrayal and take a look at your experience and ask yourself, is this person, and I invite you to do this with every relationship, why is this person in my life? Is it a season? Is it a reason? Is it a lifetime? And if it is a reason, what is that reason? And is it serving you? Is it helping you? Is it helping you realize something about yourself that you didn't realize before this relationship, and you realized it because of this relationship? And I think we so often, we're just going about our business and we don't really think about it, but we really need to, as we're growing, redefine these relationships. And here's the thing, it's not them, it's you. And it's you in the best kind of way. You're growing. And that doesn't mean there's anything bad or wrong with other people that you may have been friends with, may have, spent time with, but you're just looking for something different, looking for something more or different at a time that you're headed for growth. So like, let's say you're really interested in a particular topic. Well, now you may become friendly with people who that's their thing. They're already doing that. They're learning that. Or you have a new interest. And so you're gravitating towards people who have that same interest as well. What's behind all of it is your growth, you're changing. And so the people around you need to change as well. Now, that doesn't mean also that the people who aren't changing, you just have to leave them behind. There may be just a different place for them. And you're including these new people in your life. There's really no combination that's right and one that's wrong. It's where are you headed? What are you ready for now? But it's really about looking and redefining who are the people you're surrounding yourself, and what do you need? Do you need something more? When it comes to reasons, it's really funny. I have two stories that I share. And this is just kind of fun stories. And one of them is my college roommate. She may even be listening to this right now. We're still dear friends. And I remember back in the day, I had a double major. This was back in college. I was graduating from college with a double major in TV production, broadcast journalism. I wanted to be this big TV producer, creating these shows and all this kind of stuff. And then I did that, and I was sitting in edit rooms till 4 a.m, and it absolutely was not for me. I mean, it is wonderful for the people who do it, so not for me. And so I was trying to get all these other jobs, whatever. And I have 10 years of student loans that I'm sitting on, thinking, what the heck do I do now? I don't like this at all. And so I realized I wanted to be in health. And I didn't know what that looked like, what that meant. So I remember seeing back in this is how long ago it was. I looked in the newspaper and there was an ad for Nutrisystem. I don't even know if they're around still, but Nutrisystem. I was like, oh, I will climb the Nutrisystem ladder, and that'll be my health journey. Get myself into health that way, because I really had no other background in that at all. And as I was doing that really wasn't rewarding or fulfilling, but I thought I was kind of on a different path. And my college roommate calls me up one day and she says, do you want to take a class? And I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. Like cooking or something. I didn't even care. And she said, okay, let me look around. And then she calls back and she said, let's take it towards something. Let's be dietitians. So I signed up for this sort of holistic MSRD combination, dietetics and master's in nutrition. She never did. So look at this little angel coming into my life. She's still in my life, but that was one of those situations that she came in for a reason. Well, here it is years later. And there was somebody I was friends with. We don't really keep in touch much now, but this was pretty soon after my betrayal, and we met up and we were talking, and I really had this desire to go back to school. This is where I was really struggling, and I didn't know, like, a book wasn't getting me out of this mess. I needed to study this at a deep level, but I had no idea where I was headed with this. And so we met for lunch and we were talking about it. And I said, I really want to go back for a PhD, but I mean, I have a master's in nutrition, but that's not it. And so and I really I'm struggling and I want to heal. And she starts talking about transpersonal psychology. And I said, what the heck is that? And she explains, the psychology of transformation and human potential. And I was intrigued, and I signed up. She never did. And I'm thinking, here it was again, my second time with in the education space, where these angels come into my life to put me on a path and then flutter away. And so, what situations do you have in your life where someone has come in and really put you, just gave you an idea or an inspiration for a path, for an idea, for a direction you never would have considered or you didn't know about if they didn't come into your life? So that would be you coming into your life for a reason. They are teaching you something. They are giving you an inspiration towards something you wouldn't have had. So possibly and hopefully your betrayer, it wasn't just that you're meant to be the recipient of betrayal, you're meant to do something really powerful with it. Well, how do you do something powerful with it if there's no lesson learned? So what's the lesson for you? Is it that, like I said, you finally realize how lovable, worthy, deserving you are? You have new boundaries in place and you realize, wow, I can say no. You realize, wow, you know what? I'm really self-reliant. I got this. I don't need to count on someone else for anything, whatever the reason is for you. That's why that person came into your life, for a reason. And also think about it. If you're in that place where you're really angry and, rightly so, this person hurt you, this person lied, deceived, betrayed, all of it. But when you look at it from a place of, I never would have done this thing, gone on that path, felt this way about myself, gained this strength, saw this new light, whatever it is, you see how you can look at them very differently because of what they've taught you. And I remember reading about this one of the first times when I read the book by Colin Tipping, The Forgiveness. I can't believe the book escaped my head just now. But anyway, the author's name, Colin Tipping. I've read it. I've shared it a million times. But the whole premise of the book is these people that were so angry at the people who hurt us the most. These are our greatest teachers, and we learn so many lessons from them. So is the person, or are your friend, the person who hurt you, your friendships, have they taught you something? Are they in your life for a reason? Take a look at the idea of they were in your life for a season. Take a look at your friendships. Was it the kind of thing you were in a certain phase of life? Maybe you were raising your kids and there was a group that you did all your parent stuff with. And it's funny because there's a group that I raised the kids with, and it was so beautiful. It was such a perfect time to be with these amazing people that I absolutely love and adored. And we sort of raised our kids together. And it was one of those phases of life where it's so magical because that's a hard thing to do alone. And so you have this group to share in these things at a time where, you're new at this, or you don't know the best way to do something or whatever. And here are these amazing people going through this right with you. Isn't that great that you can have people to go on a journey with when you're at a particular stage in life? And I remember I was never one of those moms who was really up on the school stuff. I just wasn't. Like, if there was, something going on at school, even parent teacher night, half the time my friends would tell me, or don't you realize school is closed next week? Whoops, thanks for telling me. And isn't it so great to have people at that stage of life who are going through the same thing and can just be there for you in the way you need? And even, like, let's say when you're raising your kids and there are so many unknowns and you think everybody must know this. I don't know what I'm doing here, and they must know, and you're sharing in this deep experience. So do you have friendships that they were there for you because of a particular stage in life? And I'm still friendly with many of them, and it's beautiful. But with your groups, were you in a stage and you sort of evolved from that stage, and those friendships have changed? Have you changed, and have they changed with you? So something to look at right there. And here's the thing too. As I said, it's not them. It's you. It's you in the best kind of way. You're growing, you're evolving. So there are certain friendships that they were meant for that stage in life. They were meant for that season. They were meant for that time period. But as you're growing and changing, are they evolving with you? Do the people in your life, your friendships, the people that you're spending your time with, as you are changing, as you are redefining who you want to be, are they growing with you? And you will find many people, they don't like your changes. They just don't, because they kind of have it all. It was all set up. Everybody knew where they stood. They knew what to expect. And as you grow and change, you're kind of changing the rules. Like maybe you didn't have boundaries in place. So the people around you can just constantly, dump on you, and you'll just say yes, and you'll just do it, and you'll just help and whatever. And of course, sometimes that's totally appropriate. If you have a friend in need, it will be very skewed where you're doing a lot more of the giving and they're doing a lot more of the taking. Having said that, is the relationship always that way? Is that the setup where it only works if you're giving and they're taking? And you come to a point where you want to you reevaluate it, and you say, if the only way this relationship works is if I'm giving and they're taking, what happens if I stop? Now, certain dynamics you may not have an issue with at all. Like, for example, you may have a friend that, or friends you absolutely adore. They're just really bad about making plans, and you're really good about it. So you don't mind that you're the one making the plans or getting everybody together. And that's the setup. That's been the setup. It works. It's totally fine. However, if you feel, well, that's the way it's been, and it's not just that that's not their strength, they're just not willing to put the effort in or whatever, then is it worth changing the dynamic, having that conversation and changing the rules a little bit? I even met with a friend the other day, and she has a business partnership, and it was a certain way for a certain amount of time, and she's grown and the other person didn't grow as much. Well, what happens then? The rules need to change a little bit. She's evolved, one sort of stayed the same, but now it's holding her back. So what do? It's a matter of having that conversation, changing the rules. Is the other person willing to grow, to meet up with who my friend is becoming? We don't know. We have to see. That's what these conversations are for. It's just because something was arranged or a certain way for a certain period of time doesn't mean it's always like that. There's that saying, something like, I always botch up quotes, but something like, the only thing consistent is change. It's really true. We are always changing. And based on who you're becoming, do you have the right people around you to support your growth? It could be something as simple as, it's not simple, but something like this too. Years ago, 27 years ago at this point, my mom passed. And I remember this is when I instituted a little rule for myself, because some friends were there, they were right there. They were so supportive and so helpful and just showed up. And some of them I didn't hear from, just didn't hear from. And the same thing with my betrayal. Some friends were right there, so supportive, so helpful. Some friends I didn't hear from. It was like my betrayal was going to be contagious or something, or they didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to do. So I remember coming up with a little rule for myself, and maybe this helps you. And I remember thinking, I would rather, because I was the recipient of it, and I was like, what would I have wanted? And what I would have wanted was someone to say, I don't even know what in the world to say to you, but I'm here. I love you. I'm here. What do you need? Anything. Or even, I don't know what to say to you. Flubbing on their words. Anything. It just shows they're there. And so when you're growing and evolving, you may realize, I have a lot of people that when I'm in need, they're just nowhere to be found. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. So they don't do anything, or they don't show up for me in any kind of way. And you'll notice that as you grow and as you change, you'll gravitate towards, and you're going to be looking for people who may say something like, hey, I don't know, that must stink. I haven't experienced that, but I'm here. Reach out. I care. I love you. I'm here to support you in whatever way you need. Anything. And it's so interesting to find that as you grow, the people around you change. They just do. But if you're so committed to the people that you currently know, you may be really preventing yourself from getting that love, that support, that connection, that understanding that you need and that you so readily give. You also want to be careful, because if you're the one struggling, and if you're only doing, you're the one where you expect your friends to just constantly be there for you, constantly. It just is a little separate thing. Be very careful here, because yes, your friends are there for you, but how are you feeling after those conversations? If you're only feeling heard, validated, understood, and you're not any closer to moving towards the next stage, this is very stage 3 kind of stuff. This is where most people land and stay. So this is just bringing in the stages, the 5 stages right here, from betrayal to breakthrough. If that's all you're doing, and you're thinking you're going to feel better by sharing, and then that's all you feel is heard and understood and validated, and you're still stuck in stage 3, you need to do the work to move towards stage 4 and 5. Because here's the thing too, you can have the most amazing friends in the world, but it gets hard for them to constantly be there for you in the way that you need, because they could be a great listener, but they also may be thinking to themselves, he or she has told me this story 5,000 times. They're not any closer to doing or saying or feeling any different than the last 5,000 times. So me giving them their time, it's not really doing anything for them. And I'm not sure how I'm helping. So what's going on here? So just want to bring that in as well. So this is really about, I recommend taking a look at the people in your life, and are they in your life for a reason? If so, what is that reason? Are they in your life for a season? What was that season? Are they in your life for a lifetime? And of course, we never know for sure what a lifetime, but do we perceive it as a lifetime based on where we are right now? And also take a look at your relationships and say, and decide, what's my criteria? What do I need? What do I need based on who I am now? And here's a trick. Be that. If you want someone to be a good listener and hold that sacred space for you, are you doing that for other people? If you want people, when you share something private and personal, do you want it to, be kept between the two of you? You be that too. You want that person to be trustworthy? Be that too. So, just be very aware. You don't want to ask for something you're unwilling to be yourself. So that's another element of this. And then if you are at a place where you're letting go of certain relationships because you've outgrown them, because they no longer serve for whatever reason, grieve, mourn that loss, because there is a loss of the relationship or a loss of the expectations, or you've just outgrown that relationship for whatever reason. Send them love, send them light, send them on their way. And, just recognize that as you grow, your needs change. And what do you need now? And if you check in with the highest and best version of you, and you ask him or her that question, what type of friendships do I need? Who do I need in my life? What are those qualities that I'm looking for now? What are they? Who is a fit for that? And who am I ready for? And then if you realize, wow, you know what? I need a whole new group of people. That's great too. Where do you find them? Where are they? Are they if they're like-minded and you're into new things, well, join a club, do that, sport, that activity, that whatever, to find those people, because relationships are really important. Of course, your immediate, your relationship, your immediate intimate relationship, your family, but the people we spend time with, that's so important too. That person, it's hard to count on one friend for all of our needs, right? Maybe there's one friend who's such a great listener, and there's another one who's super fun, and there's one that you do these really interesting activities with, whatever. It's beautiful to have a bunch of different types of friends to do different things with, but assess the people in your life, and are you ready to let some of them go, have conversations to see if you can take those relationships to the next level based on who you're becoming? Can you just love and respect them for who they are, where they are, and not try to change them, but make sure that you have growth-minded friends so they're growing along with you? What do you need? All of this is around intentionally and deliberately creating this new version of you. And as you create this new version of you, the people around you may change a little bit too. So it's all good, but it's all worth looking at, because we can have amazing relationships that take us to such a beautiful level because we're inspired by who these people are. But if it's people that just drain, deplete us, and hold us back, well, just take a look at what is that doing for you. So love and respect them for who they are, where they are. But is it time to grow? If so, you need those friends who can help take you there. So we covered a lot, but I really recommend do an intake of the people in your life right now. Why are they there? Are they serving what you need them for at this stage of life? Do you need to make some changes to your existing relationships? Can you lovingly let people go? A lot to take a look at and a lot to think about. I hope that helps. See you next time. You need the right tools, support, and the right community to move through the 5 stages from betrayal to breakthrough. And we have all that within the PBT Institute. So join us at the PBT, as in post-betrayal transformation, thepbtinstitute.com. There's a version of you who's so confident, healthy, peaceful, and happy on the other end of your healing. And we can't wait to help you get there. We got you. Thanks for listening. And here's to your breakthrough.